Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we are back with another brand new Dino Dream release. And as you can see, not only a Dino Dream release, but it is for Jurassic World Rebirth, the most recent Jurassic World film, and this is the Aquilops, aka Dolores, and it looks really fun. Definitely a neat looking figure as a whole, and of a dinosaur that many people might feel like is actually the star of Jurassic World Rebirth in many ways. And again, you can see when it comes to the artwork here on the front of the box, it looks pretty cool. We've got the backpack as well, of course, as Dolores, and then the Jurassic World logo, and also an exclusive up here that you can see. Over here on the side, Aquilops, again, Dolores. On the back, you basically just have some more images of the figure and stuff, and different ways to display it. And then over on the other side, again, pretty much the same thing. So let's go ahead, pop this box open, and check it out. So here is everything that is included in the packaging, and as you can see, you get quite a bit of bang for your buck with this set. You've got two different versions of the Aquilops, which is really cool, different posed, and, you know, basically one slips into the backpack, which is definitely really cool, and of course, a great way to display the Aquilops, considering, again, you do see that quite a bit in Jurassic World Rebirth. So I'm going to go ahead, move everything here out of the way so we can get a closer look at everything, a more proper closer look. Readjust the camera here just a little bit, and then we'll bring in our Dolores. And as you can see, once you start here in the head sculpt, it is fantastic. The actual skin texture and everything looks great. The overall sculpt is spot on to what you see in the film. I also love the eyes. The eyes have such a realistic, lifelike look to them. They are painted with a brown and then a nice big black pupil, but they have a gorgeous gloss coat. They are perfectly placed. The paintwork is also really nice here in the face. As you can see, quite a bit of variation of color. You have all different shades of lighter and darker browns. You've also got like some brown washes, like dark brown washes. You can even see some reddish browns that move through the face in a few different areas. You'll see more of that as you move up into the frill, and my camera refuses to focus. Focus camera, there we go. You can see some of those darker browns, especially in the back of the frill. We can even see some really nice, very smooth, lighter dry brushing that helps to bring out all of the fine detail here in the face very nicely. The mouth is sculpted in an open position. We can see the beak. The beak is painted with a lighter tone inside the mouth. You can kind of see the tongue sticking out right there, but you can't really get in there to really see a whole lot more, especially considering the fact that, again, it's a pretty small figure. You can see the head there within my fingertip. As you move back here into the neck, we've got some nice skin wrinkles and folds as you lead back. Again, more variation of different shades of browns, as well as some more really nice light dry brushing that helps to bring out the detail quite beautifully. We have a very smooth transition to the lighter tone of the underbelly. And again, when you get nice and close, you can really appreciate the very nice, very fine scale detail on the figure. There's actually even a little bit of like a yellowish tone that moves down along the underside of the throat. I definitely have to say that the paintwork on this is extremely impressive. Very smooth transitions, really nice. Again, washes and dry brushing and everything used. Smooth, patterning as we move out into the tail as well. But as you move along, you can kind of make out the shoulder blade right there. You can also see the sculpting of the arm really nicely done. Some muscle definition shown off in the arm as you move down. The coloration seems to lighten a little bit. I thought my camera could focus on that, but it did not. Kind of lightens a little bit, but then we also get some darker tones as you move down into the toes here on the front limb. You can also see the claws as well, sculpted, painted with a black. They look pretty good. We can even see some scoots moving down those toes. And again, everything in that area looks quite nice. You have some more of like the reddish browns and stuff showing up here as you move back. That lighter brown there in the stomach region. Just a little bit of girth to the stomach of the Aquilops. And again, that nice lighter tone here on the underside. As you move back, we can also make out the hip bone, as well as kind of some larger scales as you move further up into the back of the dinosaur. And again, the musculature of the thigh very nicely not only sculpted out, but also defined as they've gone ahead and kind of applied some darker tones really smoothly to those areas. You can also see the calf muscle as well as the kneecap in the front of the leg, and then you move down into the foot sculpt, and again a little bit of a darker tone, as well as some beautifully sculpted scoots moving down. And then we can see the claws again. They have a nice genuine sharp look to them, and they are painted with a black. And then we move up into the tail, and as we move out into the tail, the coloration lightens quite a bit as we have kind of like an off-white moving out through the tail. And then we have that very nice striping, and the striping is actually two different shades. You can see a lighter and darker shade of brown as you move through that area of the dinosaur. And again, it's very nice and smoothly applied. We can see a little curve to the tail as you lead out there. Basically, the curve is at the end. Man, that is really nicely done. And then we move over to the other side of the head. My camera doesn't want to focus. That pretty much looks the same as what we had seen on the first side. Slight tilt and turn to the head a little bit, but not a whole lot. And then you move back into the body, and again, you can see all of the fine detail looking really good. The legs are in a slightly different position over here because the front foot is kind of planted down on the ground, whereas on the other side, the other foot is kind of picking up off of the ground. We can see the muscles tensing, my camera not focusing, but the muscles tensing here in the leg. And again, a little variation of color as you move down through the leg. Again, really smooth paint application as you continue to lead through. And then here is the rear leg, which is now kind of taking a step forward as opposed to lifting up off of the ground like we see on the other side. And again, the foot planted quite nicely on the ground here on this side, and then we lead out into the tail. So the Aquilops, as far as this kind of walking version, is beautiful. Then we've also got this version. Now this is the version that basically goes in the backpack, and this one also looks really nice. You can see again the head sculpt is just as beautiful and just as screen accurate as we had seen on the first version. We can also see the eye looking really, really lifelike again on this side. The mouth of this version is sculpted in a closed position, but we have pretty much the same variation of color, same style paintwork and everything as you move through. Again, looking equally as impressive on this one as it did on the first version. As we lead down, we can see again some more wrinkles and stuff here in the neck area. The dinosaur is turning its head away from us at this point, so you can see all sorts of, detailing there, reflecting that movement. As we lead down, we continue to basically have the same variation of color and everything, of course, as far as what we had seen on the first one. You're not really going to see much difference when it comes to that aspect on this figure compared to the first version. The arms are kind of held out here in front of the body, and that's because they're basically resting on the backpack, and that's one way you can pose it. Again, the transition to the underbelly is really smooth. You can even kind of make out like the rib cage from down here on the underside. It looks like Dolores is almost in the process of taking like a deep breath, and the stomach is kind of sucked in just a little bit, which is a very nice, impressive, fine detail. As we lead back, again, you've got that kind of darker variation of color, really lightly applied to the musculature, helping to highlight the muscle definition. We can also see that both legs are kind of held up a little bit because they're basically just kind of resting inside the bag again, considering it is inside the backpack of Isabella, and you can see that again when it comes to both legs kind of just hanging or dangling a little bit. We've got the very nicely sculpted feet again with the scoots down the toes and everything. And then again we lead out into the tail, and just like with the other one, we transition to a lighter tone that my camera does not want to focus on. Wow, no matter what I did. But when you get nice and close, again, you can see how nice the fine detail of the figure is, and again how smoothly those stripes are applied on this version of the Aquilops. Just like the first version, it is again a beautiful little Dolores. And then we have the backpack, and the backpack again very nicely resembles the way we see it in Jurassic World Rebirth. We can also see that we've got like a good weathering effect that has been applied, giving it kind of like that dirty look, especially considering again, the fact that they are pretty dirty in the film. You would definitely expect this to have received this treatment, again having that weathered look, and I think they did a really good job of replicating that. You can see the paintwork as well is really impressive, as you've got all sorts of variation of color throughout the course of different areas of the backpack. You can even see like these little straps and stuff are painted out. We can see the zipper as well is painted out. We actually can move this little area here as well. Again, you can see again like where the little straps and the little connectors and stuff are. You can actually move those, making this even more realistic, which of course is definitely not a bad thing. And as you move around to the back, you can see the straps and everything of the backpack back here, all very nicely sculpted, very nicely painted, extremely highly detailed as you move through in every area. You can also move this as well. And again, what's cool is it's actually a rubber, so it's very flexible. You can actually, basically close that and everything. I don't think these would actually work, but honestly, I wouldn't be that surprised if they did. I'm not going to chance it, but I feel like you honestly could probably get those in there and close that. And even on the inside, again, does still sort of have like that weathered look to it. And of course, you're going to want to take your Dolores and put Dolores down in there if you want to display her in the same way that you see her the majority of the film. You can also see that we've got like this little bag of candy as well. And again, even the candy bag itself is very nicely sculpted out, kind of like, you know, bent and, you know, a little beat up. But what's cool is inside the bag, you actually have some little pieces of candy. So again, you can create some really cool displays with your Dolores. Now I dropped that. With your Dolores using the little pieces of candy that are included. So of course, again, a great addition to this set. They've honestly covered every possible diorama that you could want to create with Dolores, I would think, at this point. And then you've got this really cool stand, again, which does kind of look back there with like the candy and everything. And then you have Jurassic World Rebirth as you move down. And what's cool is you can see a lock and an unlock aspect, and that's because the underside is actually a suction cup. So basically you can suction cup this to whatever and then kind of lock it in to keep it nice and stable and display your Dolores on it. And when you turn this around, you can see again Dolores the Aquilops. It is a limited edition of 999, and this is number 32 of that run, so pretty decent number. Not the greatest in the world, but not too bad either. You can actually move these as well. You can bend that down and bring it up, bend it all the way out if you would like, and you can actually put the entire thing back down. So now you basically just have like the candy right here. Again, lots of different ways that you can display your Aquilops, making the figure even more appealing. And again, what's also cool is if you want, you could take this version, lay it down, bring in another one, and now it just kind of looks like you've got two Aquilops that are sort of playing, which I think is really neat as well. So again, lots of possibilities when it comes to the display of this one. But as far as a size goes, we'll just measure this one because again, they are the same size. They're also the same scale. They are in 1/5 scale, so they're not going to differ as far as the size, just basically like the positioning. But you are looking at about 4¼ inches, or just a hair under 11 centimeters in length, and then for a height, just a little bit over 1.5 inches, or pretty much 4 centimeters on the dot. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, Robert Muldoon, and the Collect Day Human Being next to our Dino Dream Dolores. And you can see, again, it's got a pretty decent size to it as far as, like, not being super, super tiny, but considering it is an Aquilops, I wouldn't expect it to be massive. So, again, it's not huge, but not tiny. And then when it comes to another size comparison, here is a Mattel Mini and a Captives Mini next to our Aquilops, showing you that the Aquilops is a little bit bigger than like a standard minifigure. And again, honestly, like when it comes to the Aquilops and a model like this, I would say it's pretty much the perfect size because it's very nice and convenient where you can put it anywhere, but it's not going to take up a massive amount of room in your collection. And then because why not, we have the Mattel and Marco Makes versions of the Aquilops here as well, just to kind of give you one more idea of a size. Obviously, the Dino Dream versions are a bit larger. Any of the other Aquilops figures that I have are really not going to mesh well when it comes to these versions. You know, like they're just going to be significantly larger when it comes to the Rebirth version of the Aquilops. So I feel like that's pretty much the best comparisons I could probably give you. So this brand new Jurassic World Rebirth Dino Dream Aquilops, the Dolores the Aquilops, is fantastic. Again, another great release from Dino Dream, and by far the most highly detailed and highest quality Dolores that we have had, especially when it comes to the very impressive paint apps on the figure. I think Dino Dream knocked this release out of the park yet again, and they have consistently been delivering some of the best and highest quality Jurassic World and Jurassic Park statues and models that we've ever had from any company. I've been loving each and every one of them, and this Dolores is honestly, I think, going to be a sleeper hit. If you are a fan of Dolores, it is a must-have. You really need to get this one into your collection because they are just so nicely done. As I said, probably the most lifelike version that's out there when it comes to the combination of high quality detail and very impressive paint apps. Also, the poses are really nice. And again, this set features a lot that you can do with it, you know, various different ways to display the figures, and you've got like a really cool base that does suction cup, which makes it nice and safe to display. You've got the ability to kind of put the Dolores in the backpack. The backpack, again, itself is extremely well done, very impressive and lifelike, and again, looks like it was pretty much just pulled straight out of Jurassic World Rebirth and brought here in a miniature size for me to display in my collection. You've also got the candy bag, so you can basically have the Aquilops like looking for some candy or something like that. Just so many different possibilities and ways to display and show off this set. And again, both of the Aquilops look fantastic and extremely lifelike, and I just love the eyes. The eyes are so well done, and the, again, gloss coat just makes them shine so realistically. So without a doubt, this is a must-have if you ask me, especially if you are, again, a fan of Rebirth or specifically Dolores. So if you are interested, I will include a link in the description to where you can head on over to Lana Time Shop right now and grab this and add it to your collection. So make sure you check that link. Definitely pick this up and like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.